Okay, so back here in After Effects, this is where I left off with just some basic moving the ball around, right? So I'm gonna just get rid of all this and start over. A couple ways you can do this. If I want to get rid of all these keyframes, I can hold my click and drag a marquee rectangle, and you can see that the rectangle, everything it touches gets selected. So I can select all those keyframes like that, let go. They're all blue, which means they're selected. And if I hit delete, bam, they're all gone. Okay. Now, funny thing is, all the keyframes are gone, but like my opacity is messed up because it didn't reset to 0. I just got rid of all those keyframes. So I'm going to undo this to show you another way to do it. Undo on a Mac is a Command Z. Hold down Command and do Z. That's undo. Bring all my keyframes back. Because another way I could do this is these clocks over here. I forgot to mention that when you turn these on, it enables keyframing. Then you want to leave it alone. Lots of times people think that to make another keyframe, they come over and click the clock again. And what that does is it just disables keyframing and gets rid of all your keyframes. So, rookie mistake. You might accidentally do that, right? So, no biggie. Just go Command Z if you accidentally do that. But another way I can do this is click all these clocks, and what that does is gets rid of all the keyframes, but it also resets. It resets some of the things, like it resets opacity to 100% and scale, I think, to 100%. Okay, so I'm sort of back to scratch with no keyframes here. Let me show you another cool thing about this keyframing. If lots of times new people, when this stuff is gone, when they don't see it, they think they deleted it. They said, "Oh, I accidentally deleted my position or my scale." Think of this as like a drawer or like a lampshade. These things are always tucked in here, and they're always there. It's like when I close this, they're there, they're just not visible. When you click this, it opens up, transform, and then like that, okay? So they're always there. If you don't see them, you just open it, and there they are. Lots of times you don't want to see all of these because you may only be doing position, you may only be doing scale. So the shortcut for that is select the layer you want to work on, and P on your keyboard opens position. If you hit P again, it goes away. S is scale. Hit it again, it goes away. R is rotate. Hit it again, it goes away. The weird one is opacity is opacity. Letter T is opacity. I don't know why they didn't make an O or make the word transparency, which does start with the letter T. It's a mystery. It's just an idiosyncrasy of one of many After Effects idiosyncrasies. You'll get used to it. If you want more than one thing open, you can hold down Shift and hit something else. Like I already have opacity open. If I hit Shift S, it brings up scale. If I hit Shift P, right? See how that works? If I hit Shift P again, it'll take position away. Shift S will take scale away. T will take opacity away, okay? So, shortcuts. Handy. Use them. It'll save you time. Animation can be very time consuming. After Effects can be rather confusing, so using shortcuts saves you some time and energy. Okay, so what we want to do is as if you remember, I showed you that clip before, we want to make this ball bounce just up and down. Okay, so I'm going to come back to 0, and let me open up all my transforms so you can see what's happening with the digits here. If I grab this ball, grab your ball and bring it to the top middle of your composition, and I want to make it a little smaller so I have room to move it around, right? So I'm going to take scale and just make the ball smaller. Now I don't need to set a keyframe because I'm not changing the scale. I just want the ball to stay that size. Okay. If I wanted it to grow or shrink, then I would set scale keyframes. But I just want it to be small for now. Okay. I want it to be small, and I want it to be at the top. So I'm going to say position, turn on position, so that there's a keyframe at 0 seconds, ball's at the top, right? So current time indicator 0 seconds. This keyframe says the ball is at this location, top center. Okay, so drag forward in time to 2 seconds, and at 2 seconds there's no keyframe, right? But if I grab the ball and drag it down, straight down to the bottom of the screen, just so that the bottom edge is touching the bottom of the edge of the comp like that, not going over, just touching it. what I've done is I've said start at the top, move to the bottom, right? And if I drag forward after that, there's no more keyframes in the future in this timeline at 8, 10, 12 seconds. So all the ball's doing is it goes up, down, and then just sits there. Okay? So if I want to bring it back up again to make it look like it's bouncing, I got up, down, then here at 4 seconds, I can grab it and bring it back up. Okay? And what I've got now is it goes, starts up, then goes down, then goes up, right? If I want to continue that up, down, up, what I could do is select these two keyframes, which is down, up, like this, drag a marquee over those two, just click and hold your rectangle drag, get both of them. They're both selected. If I copy them by going Command C and move forward to 6 seconds and paste them, Command V for paste, I just pasted a copy of this down, up, then this is down, up, right? So copy paste is a time saver. Now, if I just want to play this in real time, I can scrub back to 0 and hit my spacebar on my computer, and spacebar will play through this in real time. This green line at the top shows me that After Effects had to quickly go through and render this animation. It doesn't exist. There's not a video of this. So what After Effects has to do very quickly is every single frame it has to go through and render to show me a preview. This is a very simple thing at this point for After Effects to do, but in the future when you have more complex animations, when you hit spacebar or you hit play up here, where is it? On your, watch this, in Window, Preview. If you see Preview here, if you don't see Preview here, you can go to Window and open Preview. There's a check mark by it now, so it's showing. This preview is your play controls, right? So if I hit play, it's the same as hitting my spacebar. See, that's a shortcut spacebar. And what might happen is the first time you play it, it might not play in real time. It might play slowly as it renders your animation. But once it gets to the end of your work area, which is between this, see it says work area start, this blue bracket and this blue bracket over here. When you start off, your work area is the length of your comp. You can grab the edge of this work area, this blue bracket, slide it this way. Now this light blue, this light gray area right here, the shaded area, this is now your work area. And what the work area is good for is when you play like this, After Effects will play to the end of the work area, and when it gets to the end, it'll go back to the beginning. Watch. When it reaches here, it'll go boop and start at the beginning. That's useful because sometimes you have a 30-second animation. You have a 30-second comp, but you only have like 8 seconds of animation. And so you don't want to be watching 20 seconds of nothing. So you can shorten your work area and just preview what's in this part of it to see how it's going. Okay? So I just made this a little longer. So right now, all I've got is this ball going up, down, up, down, up. I'm going to continue to make this happen like this. Paste the down, up, move forward, paste the down, up, do it one more time here, paste the down, up, and then just hit play and watch what happens. So I just hit play, and you can see the ball just moving slowly up and down. So if I'm after making this look like a bounce, this is sort of bounce-ish, but not exactly bouncy. First of all, it's kind of slow-mo. Second of all, I might ask you, what do you think is missing? But you can't answer me because it's just a video. So I'll tell you. What you want to make it look like for a real bounce is it should kind of compress, or they call it in animation a squish. So when it hits the ground, it should squish and then unsquish and come back up. Okay? And there's some other things to make it look proper and bouncy that we're going to do. So first thing, I just hit spacebar to stop the animation. First thing, the slowness of it, I'm not really going to worry about it right now. I'm going to get the animation looking right and then speed it up. But one of the things that you can do is if I wanted to move all these keyframes closer together to make it bounce faster, I could drag a marquee over all these keyframes to select them. And if I hold down Option on my keyboard and grab the end keyframe, what that lets you do is what I call accordion. It compresses them, and what it does is it keeps the relative distance between them proportional. Right? So it's sort of like scaling when you're moving something, when you hold down Shift and you scale something. So now watch. If I hit play, see it's bouncing a little faster. I call this switch down here the mountain slider because it's two mountains with a slider in between, but it's not what it's really called. It's called the zoom into frame level. But this slide switch lets you sort of stretch out. See how the increment from 0 to 2 seconds, when I slide this, it gets larger. Now I can see the 1 second marker. So this is just sort of like zoom in on your timeline or zoom out. It stretches it out or squishes it. It doesn't really change. It's just the visibility. It doesn't change the actual position of these keyframes like I did when I squashed them. Okay? That makes sense? So I've got this up-down motion going. I'm going to stretch this out a bit because let's think about this. I want this to go up, down, and then here on the down keyframe, on this down keyframe is where the ball should squish, right? So which one of these properties do you think we would use to make it squish? Position is making it move up and down. I'll tell you, it's scale, right? So if I mess around with scale here, if I go, I'm going to sit right on this down keyframe by using this white arrow to make sure I'm sitting right there on that keyframe. That's where it's at the down spot right there. So this is up, that's down. Right here, if I take my scale, make a keyframe, and take these digits and slide them, it makes the ball bigger and smaller, but it doesn't squash it, right? So because there's a chain link that's making, when I change the X value or the Y value, they both change. So I need to break this chain link by clicking on it. Take off that chain link, and then what that allows me to do is just take the Y value and smash it, okay? So if I smash the Y value, the ball is kind of compressing, okay? Now, I made a keyframe right here that says at this point in time, at 2 seconds, this keyframe says do this to the scale, make it squash. But I didn't set a keyframe at 0, so right now it's always squashed. See what I did? So I've got, like, in showing you how to do this, like I made a keyframe with a squashed ball. So I'm going to step back and undo that. I'm going to go Command Z, Command Z, Command Z until I get rid of that keyframe. Okay. So let's start here at 0. At 0, I want to turn on scale because I want to say, look, at 0 seconds this ball should be round, 52x, 52y. This scale keyframe right here says I am round. This position keyframe says I'm at the top. So this one says top, this one says round, right? When I jump ahead to the down keyframe, so this is up, this is down. At down, now if I break this link and squash the y value, okay, then you think, okay, it's going to work. So watch what happens. At 0 seconds, this one says up at the top, position, and scale is round. So this is up, round. As I move forward, look what happens. After Effects starts interpolating the squash of the scale too soon, right? Like that wouldn't happen. As the ball was falling, it wouldn't start squishing until it hits the bottom. So what I really want to do is take this keyframe, the squash one, get rid of it. And what I need to do is this. Jump forward to this down keyframe here and just set another scale keyframe that says I'm still round. Okay? So what it does is this. Top round, bottom round. You see that? Because I want it to stay from here to here, it needs to stay round. It can't squish. Okay? And then what I really want to do is this is up round, this is down round. What I want to do is it sees this keyframe here and it starts heading back up again. So I want it to stay at the bottom. So I want to select these two keyframes right here. This is basically down and round. Copy them. I just did Command C for copy. Move forward just a little bit and paste it. So these two keyframes are an exact copy of these two. So what I have here is it goes like this. Up round, down round, stay down round, and then go back up. Okay? So look at what this looks like. It goes down, pause, and then back up. This little space between is making them pause. Now right here in between is where I want the squash to happen, right? So let's try that. In between these two down round and down round, if I take this scale, I broke the link already, and squish the y value, let's see what this looks like. It's going to go down, down, down. It's going to land here where it says down round. and then when it hits down around, it's going to squash, and then it's going to unsquash, and then go back up like that. I probably should turn my mail off so you don't see my little notifications. Pardon me with that. All right, so do you see this? Squish, back up. Now, that's close, but something's very weird about it. Let me slide this down so I can see the end of my work area. Let's just look at this a minute. I'm going to play it in real time and study how it looks. It goes down and squashes and then back up. And then there's a little hitch at the top where it's looping at the end of the work area. So let me see if I can fix that. All right, so ignore the little jump at the top, but look at the squish. It's kind of close, but it's not quite right. And when I have a group of students in class, I try to ask people what they think is wrong here. I think I'll stop here and let you ponder what might be wrong here, and then I'll pick it up in the next part and fix it.